telephone. Who do you think was the inventor of telephone? Alexander Graham Bell is most well known for inventing the telephone. He came to the US as a teacher of the deaf and conceived the idea of electronic speech while visiting his hearing-impaired mother in Canada.
Alexander Graham Bell, best known for his invention of the telephone, revolutionized communication as we know it. His interest in sound technology was deep-rooted and personal, as both his wife and mother were deaf. While there's some controversy over whether Bell was the true pioneer of the telephone, he secured exclusive rights to the technology and launched the Bell Telephone Company in 1877. Ultimately, the talented scientist held more than 80 patents for his invention and work in communication.
What is a telephone and how to use it?
Telephone. The telephone is a very common device for communicating over a distance. With the telephone, a person can talk almost instantly with someone on the other side of the world. To use a telephone. First step, dial the number you wish to call. Second, press the mute button. 3. If you wish to talk, place your finger on mute button and press it, but keep your finger poised over the button. 4. Speak. Of course. 5. When finished speaking, press the mute button before you return your finger to your keyboard. 6. If the call is continuing, go to step 3. 7. If the call is finished, hang up the phone. Additional tips. Tip number 1. Try to avoid using soft phones. They're horrible and they often introduce echo and noise for everyone else on the call. Tip number 2. Use a headset. Speaker phones aren't good as you think as they are. If you have to use speakerphone, be even more vigilant about your mute button. Tip number 3. Stick to landline or proper VoIP phones whenever possible. Always use your mute button when you're not actually speaking. Tip number 4. If you're using something that resembles but poorly emulates a real telephone, use the number 6 mute feature as it mutes all the audio coming from your line, something that your emulated phone may not do well. Tip number 5. Keep track of your mute status. It's not that hard. It's either on or off. Don't announce to everyone that you forgot whether you were muted or not. If you need help determining you're muted or not, to try the following procedure below. Tip number 6. Hold is not mute. Don't use your phone's hold function in any way when you're connected to a conference. Your phone or phone system may play music or beep periodically into the conference, making it unusual until you return. That's it.
The history of telephone.
One of the greatest innovations in the communication technology to date is telephone. Because of it, we've connected over mountains, across the oceans, and the opposite ends of the world. And also, we can convey important information quickly and efficiently. And now, with our cell phones and smartphones, we can send important data, capture memories, and explore the internet, all from our mobile phone. The start of the telephone is an amazing timeline of experimentation and discovery. The first telephone patent was granted to Alexander Graham Bell in 1876. Actor portraying Alexander Graham Bell in 1926, silent film shows Bell's first telephone transmitter microphone invented at 1876 and first displayed acoustic devices, a 19th century acoustic tin can or lover's telephone. Before the innovation of electromagnetic telephones, mechanical acoustic devices existed for transmitting speech and music over a greatest distance. This distance was greater than that of normal direct speech. The earliest mechanical telephones were based on sound transmission through pipes or other physical media. The acoustic tin can telephone or lover's phones has been known for centuries. It connects two diaphragms with a taut string or warp, which transmits sounds by mechanical vibrations from one to another along the wire, and not by a modulated electric current. The classic example is a children's toy made by connecting the bottoms of two paper cups, metal cans, or plastic bottles with tautly held string. Some of the earliest known experiments were conducted by the British physicist and polymath Robert Hooke from 1664 to 1685. An acoustic string phone made in 1667 is attributed to him. An earlier version was also found in use by Chimu in Peru. The guard and stretched high version resides in a Smithsonian Museum collection and dates back to around the 7th century AD. For a few years in the late 80s, acoustic telephones were marketed commercially as a competitor to the electrical telephone. When Bell telephone patents expired and many new telephone manufacturers began competing, acoustic telephone makers quickly went out of business. Their maximum range was limited. An example of one such company was the Pulsion Telephone Supply Company, created by Lemuel Mellett in Massachusetts, which designed its version in 1888 and deployed it on a railroad right-of-ways. Additionally, speaking tubes have long been common, especially within buildings and aboard ships, and they are still in use today. Electrical devices. The telephone emerged from the making and successive improvements of the electrical telegram. In 1804, Spanish polymath and scientist Francisco Salva Campillo constructed an electrochemical telegraph. The first working telegraph was built by the English inventor Francis Ronalds in 1816 and used static electricity. An electromagnetic telegraph was created by Baron Skilling in 1832. Carl Friedrich Gauss and William Wilbert built another electromagnetic telegraph in 1833 in Göttingen at the University of Göttingen. The two had been working together in the field of magnetism. They built the first telegram to connect the observatory and the Institute of Physics, which was able to send 8 words per minute. The electrical telegraph was first commercialized by Sir William Hill Cook and entered use on the Great Western Railway in England in run for 13 mi 21 km from Paddington Station to West Greaton and came into operation on April 9, 1839. Another electrical telegraph was independently developed and patented in the United States in 1837 by Samuel Morse. His assistant Alfred developed the Morse code signaling alphabet with the Morse. America's first telegraph was designed by Morse on January